Okay, I don't remember where I left off at, but ended up finding an engine out of a Tahoe. Bought the whole thing. It was I think a 2000 or 2001 Tahoe. Bad transmission. It'd been kind of parted out anyway, but the motor was still in it. So pulled the motor out. It's a 5.3. I pulled the plugs on it and rolled it over, and it had the same kind of issue going on. The motor that was in here, cylinder 5 had filled with gas and then it broke the rod. Well, on this one, cylinder 6 was full of gas, but you could tell it'd been in there forever. It was old, nasty gas. So I don't know why these motors fill a cylinder with gas when they're setting. I don't know what's going on there. It's kind of strange. I just dumped whatever oil in it that I had laying around. Get some oil back in it because it was pretty bad. It hadn't been changed for a while. I think this motor's got, I think the title on the Tahoe the last time it was registered was well over 200,000 miles. I don't remember now exactly. I got the battery hooked up. I got just the basics connected, fuel lines, coils, spark plugs. Put a bolt in each motor mouth so it didn't jump around or anything. No cooling system, no fan, no belt or anything on it. I'm firing it for the first time. I've not tried it yet. The exhaust isn't hooked up. I keyed it up to make sure I didn't have any fuel leaks. So we're gonna crank it over and see what happens. If the battery's even any good, I'm gonna put the charger on. That oil pressure. No, I'm gonna go ahead and put the charger on. Or right now. It huffed a couple of times. I could smell it. I can smell combustion. Built about 40 pounds of oil pressure cranking, so that's good. See if we're getting fuel. We got fuel. forgot. One of my plug wires was chewed up by a mouse. And I don't have that one. Let me go get one. So apparently the LSs, you gotta have all 8 spark plug wires. Who knew? I'm working on the '01 Chevy still. So, I don't know. When was the last time I worked on this and recording? It's been a few days. Got the engine in, everything bolted up. I think I started it earlier in this video. Like I said, it's been a couple of days. It ran okay. I mean, it's on 2-year-old gas at least. It had one cylinder that was full of gas. Old gas, it's been full of gas for a while. I kind of found out that these LSs are sort of known for having injectors stick and fill cylinders and bend rods and brake rods and blocks and whatever else, which is what happened to the motor that was in here. So it must have had one that was leaking. I wonder maybe when they're parked, because this motor came out of a Tahoe that the transmission went out of, and I wonder like if you get in it and you key it up, you know, to move it or whatever, you pull it somewhere, you know, the pump comes on, and if that one injector is stuck and it fills the cylinder while the pump primes, and then the next time you got it off, you turn the key on and the pump primes again, and that one injector stuck, so it puts more in that cylinder. That's my theory. Maybe everybody knows that. I don't know that. But, you know, something to think about as these things get older and older and they're sitting around. You know, if you've had one sitting for a while, it's got an LS in it, you know, truck, car, whatever it is, Tahoe, Suburban. If it's been sitting for a while and you've keyed it on and off to, you know, be able to steer it and be able to, you know, whatever, you might pull the plugs on it and roll the motor over and make sure that way you don't mess up your engine. Right now it's just got water in it. I went ahead and put new plugs in it. I had to change the power steering, one of the power steering lines. It was different than the Tahoe engine. And I ended up having to change the AC compressor. The Tahoe, I think it had rear air. There was an extra line in it. The compressor was different. It had a big port and a small port, whereas the compressor on the truck had 2 big ports. So if you're swapping one of these motors and you're moving, check your components, because changing the AC compressor on these is a pain when the motor is in the truck. I'm ready to just start it up and run it, and just let the motor run, let it get hot, wash the gauges, kind of see how everything's going. I'll put the headlights back in, I'm gonna put the grill back in. I'm just tired of looking at it in this condition. I want the grill back on it. And I'm gonna pressure wash the engine bay. I need to pressure wash the radiator's got a lot of stuff stuck in it. So I need to pressure wash that. This truck was originally parked because of a bad brake line, and I believe I found where the brake was at. I repaired that. When I got it running, initially, one of the transmission cooler lines was rusted through, and it was leaking. So I repaired that. And I think that's all so far. The battery that was in this truck, it's 721, but it's sat in this truck since then and not been used, and it was completely dead, but I charged it and it come back to life, so I at least have and the battery's good. I'm kind of surprised. I thought I was gonna buy a battery. So we'll run them some more. The oil was pretty sludgy. Get it warm, drain the oil. I got a filter for it. And just kind of go from there. I just want to drive it, see how it is, and clean it up and sell it. I took it for a test drive, and we got a cylinder 3 misfire. I'm just going to try changing the coil out real quick. Has new plugs. Plug wires look pretty good. I have extra coils. This coil is hot compared to the rest of them. None of them really have any temperature to them, but this number 3 one is really hot. So we'll try swapping it out and just go for it. Might fix it, might not, but since I got them laying around, I don't really have to do much troubleshooting. It's not cracked or got anything leaking out of it or anything, so we'll just swap in another dirty one and clear the code, try it again. Back in. Plug wire. Okay, swap the coil with another one. Still have cylinder 3 misfire. So before I go trying to pull injectors out, I don't know. If I remember right, this was the cylinder that was full of gas from sitting forever. I don't remember if it was 3 or 5. But I'm getting the misfire on 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do a compression check just to make sure mechanically everything's good. Yeah, I'm seeing about 150. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's not a leak down gauge, so the way that it's fallen off, I'm pretty sure that's just the gauge. I could probably find another one and try a different one just to see. I don't think there's no O-ring or anything on this. Ooh, that thing is hot. Damn, it's hot. We put an O-ring on, I suppose. So there's no O-ring on it. So that's probably why it's leaking, but we'll go with it. We'll trust it. Just like I said, there's no O-ring here. So it doesn't have a way to seal. And this doesn't have a chamfer to it, so it's fine. It was 150 PSI or so. I'm good with that. Do that compression check. I'd pulled the fuel pump relay and unplugged both of the coils on each side. The sets of coils. There's one plug on each side. No, it wasn't trying to start. Wasn't getting fuel or spark. the scanner in again. Key on. Read. I wonder if is there a disc in it? Nope. Read. Do something. Okay, erase. Sure. Done. Okay. Key off. Let me just leave this plugged in. Alright, so it came back. Misfire cylinder 3. So we know we've got compression. We know we've got, well, we think we have spark because I changed the coil. Alright, so I just, instead of just pulling out one injector, I actually pulled the whole fuel rail off of the parts motor. But it was super easy to get to because there was no other parts on that motor. So I was going to try to just swap. Boy, that alternator is hot. The whole rail, all the injectors and everything. Like I said, it was really easy to, you got to pull the whole thing off anyway, so. Went ahead and pulled the fuel pump relay again, just so it's not trying to prime. I don't know if it would or not, but oh, I gotta take those bolts out. More that holds this one down. All kinds of stuff on top of it. The other motor, like I said, there's no wiring or anything in the way, so it just kind of popped right apart. No problem. Ouch! Bad place to put my finger. Let's pop this open here. This one here. We'll go ahead and pop that back off too. That'll just give me just a little more room. That one off too. May not need to. Might be the room I need. Alright, so if we're calling injector 3 a problem, so there's injector 1, and there's injector 3. 5, 7, 3. Yeah. I'd say that one's a problem. I have this whole other fuel rail. They dump gas on the alternator, and all these, I mean, none of them look fantastic, but so I think it would be just as easy to drop this whole rail in. Shove this in here without dropping O-rings off, and dirt down in the engine, maybe a couple of bolts down on top of some pistons, you know. The usual stuff that happens when you're trying to do shit the easy way. Well, I'm sure this is the hard way, because that's the way that I do it. Shove it down in here with all these old seals. Shouldn't be a problem. Not at all. Whoa, whoa, my stool's sliding out on me. Is the key still turned on? Look into that alternator. That sucker is, it's like it's got a draw. I mean, it is hot. Hold down bolts back on here. There it goes. There we go. Put the coils back in. Okay. Now this running, and I got another misfire on a different cylinder this time, on cylinder 7. So I also got a fuel trim code. So we're going to check the fuel pressure. Like I said, with this thing having at least 2-year-old gas in it, and the hell filter could be clogged up, but we'll check the fuel pressure. It's just weird that my misfires are moving around now in different cylinders. I even had like a 300, or wasn't cylinder specific, it was just a misfire, random misfire code. I mean, I could have a wiring problem, obviously. This truck's set outside and it might have some wires chewed up, but we'll check the fuel pressure. Shows fuel pressure just with the key on. Yeah. So it shows 35 there just on the prime. Fire it up, see. So it's about 45 psi. So yeah, it should be closer to 60 actually. Just at idle, it should be over 50. Instead of only getting 45. So we'll change the fuel filter. I'm sure it's probably plugged up. And so I'll leave that on there. And we'll go from there. Okay, we got the new fuel filter in. Disconnect the battery. Just so nobody will come in and turn the key on and spray fuel everywhere. I don't know who would do that. So now we can start it up and see if we get any more fuel pressure. Because I'm pretty sure it was the original filter. It was still, it still said it's an AC Delco filter. And it was hard to get loose. It was in there tight. Like somebody had channel locks or something on it at some point trying to get it to come loose. But we'll fire it up and see. That did not make a difference. Still 40, 48, about 48 psi when it's running. So probably have a weak pump. I'm gonna drive it around again, see if I get those fuel trim codes. Seems like my miss has gone away. We'll take it down the road and we'll see.